Welcome to the Real Estate Show. From buying to selling and everything in between. Rochester's home for everything real estate. And now, your hosts from the Anthony Butera team of Keller Williams Realty, Greater Rochester. It's Anthony Butera and Jason Mancuso.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Real Estate Show. We have Anthony and Jason here hanging out. Guys,
Hanging out.
How
What's
was your
going
Memorial Day weekend? Did you go anywhere? Or?
Yeah, Jason went away. Jason went to the islands, and I was in Soda, so we got away for a few days. The weather wasn't exactly how we want. I mean, last Friday it was snowing in a lot of spots.
Yeah, we
Was
saw
it?
some flurries.
Yeah.
We saw some flurries and sleet up our way. So
Oh my God.
Saturday, Sunday, and Monday were perfect though, so can't complain.
They weren't flurries. Jason does a ton of cocaine whenever he goes to the islands.
Yeah,
Get it from Mayor Lovely Warren's husband, you know?
There you go. Yep.
Graduated with him.
That's how you get them.
Yeah.
I'm actually, so we're always nervous about vacationing with the young kids. So like, I don't know, before COVID, we went like an hour away, just went camping in a cottage and stuff. And it was like, okay, easy enough. If they freak out, we can go home. Now, again, I know this sounds a little lame because we don't want to like go to Florida or something or do a plane with the kids yet, but we're going to New York City to Rockaway Beach to hang out at the beach, like the ocean for a little bit. Which it's like it's like a less Coney Island. You know what I mean? Like there's not like a Ferris
I got
wheel.
friends down there. I got friends down that area. It's a pretty cool spot. You're in New York City, and then there's like the beach. You wouldn't think of it, right?
Yeah,
so it's not Long Island or anything.
But this is our first Airbnb. This is our first Airbnb experience.
Oh,
so
nice.
We'll see if it's a nice Airbnb. I don't know, you know?
So, Mark, I know that you're part Italian, but your Spaniard takes over. Rockaway Beach, dude, like I'm going to have to help you out with your apparel. You're going to need some bronzer.
Okay.
And a ton of, and a ton
I'm
of
darker
spike,
than you.
dude, a ton of spike gel.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah. Hey, you're darker. Yeah, you are darker than me.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever.
I'll get real Italianed up for Rockaway Beach.
Do it. I got a nice necklace for you. Nice Figaro you can borrow.
So random, but on the tip of Rockaway Beach is called Breezy Point. And
Just the tip?
Just the tip of it. A little gated community that
A little what?
It's a gated community.
Okay.
Like you won't be able to just go, Mark. And it's all residents, and it ends up being the highest, most densely populated Irish community outside of Ireland.
Great.
Gonna have a race war.
Two close friends that that I went to college with that live there, and I've been there a few times after college, and it's an experience.
Yeah, you get that many Irish people in a small space.
Yeah,
I'm picturing like men in their mid-50s in jean shorts with urine on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Well, the kids will love it.
And then add me to the mix, and powder keg.
Yeah.
But if you remember, what was it? Sandy, Hurricane Sandy that hit.
Yeah.
So that, if you remember the community that caught fire, like there's sparks were flying and the whole it ended up burning down a bunch of houses. That was it. That was Breezy Point on Rockaway.
Oh.
So interestingly enough, like that provided opportunity for a couple of my friends who naturally don't have a $2 million budget to buy a beach home in New York. They were able to get burnout deals for a couple $100,000 and made them their home and renovated and stuff. So
yeah, and Rockaway Beach was, I mean, whenever you see like the mansions that are around there, all the mob bosses from New York City, they all had their mini castles on Rockaway.
There you go. So what, Mark? So Airbnb, how was that experience? Booking at least.
It was booking. It wasn't too bad. It was just one of those things where it's like, it was like a block from the actual beach. All we want to do is take the kids to the beach.
Yeah.
Maybe do like whale watching, and then if it's crappy out, we can go into the city. So we're
Yeah.
like, yeah. So we just picked the place that was a block from the beach, and it was only, I don't know, for a few days. I think it was like a little over $1,000. It wasn't too bad,
Yeah.
but it's just like, what are we gonna do? Get a hotel, and it's gonna be like 1,500. We don't even have like a stove or anything for the kids.
Yeah.
Just seemed like a better
Yeah.
idea for the kids.
Sure.
Oh, that's a great.
I could save you guys money too, Mark. If you want to just stay home, I'll run across your front yard naked, and you can throw spears at me while they whale watch.
It's well, you've lost the weight,
Yeah, no,
Like
I mean,
you
it's
said.
a whale. It's not a. 3 months ago it was manatee watching. Now I'm skinny down to a whale. Don't worry about it.
So Airbnb though, how's that affected? I mean, the Airbnb is relatively new, right? How's that affected just real estate in general?
A ton of real estate agents are going Airbnb. Like, they've shifted their investments, and I feel like prior to COVID, long-term tenants were what everybody desired, and now with tenant issues that are tied into leases, and there's really no mandate for them to have to pay their rent, or at least they think that, people are really enamored by the steady turnover of people and getting high nightly rates on Airbnb or VRBO, right? And so I'm seeing more people invest in that, and it's driving the cost of waterfront property even that much higher. An agent within our company, she's bought a couple of places on Canandaigua Lake, and she crushes it with Airbnb. I mean, especially like Canandaigua Lake, forget it. You're probably $750 a night, right? And worst case scenario, it's covering all of your expenses. You Airbnb that thing for 15, 20 years, pay it off, and watch the thing appreciate. So people are enamored by it. I love the concept. And COVID again, Airbnb, it's turned crazy. Vacation rentals have turned nuts.
Yeah, because they didn't. I was just reading an article where they just grew during COVID. Due to just kind of how people were vacationing, right? And hotels and restrictions and flights, etc. It's just kind of easier to whether you're feeling safer or just have the ease of that process and hopping into, kind of similar to what you just said, Mark, where it's like, rather than a hotel, we get, a home to occupy and live in while we're vacationing, have the stove, have the fridge, and can, do the family thing easier that way. It's booming, right? Like, I'm trying to think of the first time or when this came on the scene at first. It's like within the last 5 years, it feels like, right?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It really, what people are getting for Airbnbs, and then of course, Mark, when you went to book, it probably had advertised $400 a night, and then you go to get your grand total, and it's like, whoa, 400 turned into 650 really quick.
Yeah, I think it was sent to me from, so we're it's like I think it was sent to me from my wife. So I was just like, I already had the price just there. So she got that surprise.
Yeah. Out all that. I mean, it's accelerated to a prime investment opportunity, or whatever you want to call it, in that regards. I mean, there's a lot of investment taking place with that strategy as how to seek the return on your investment. And you can just go like straight cash flow with it and make money like you would any other rental property, right? If that makes sense. Or there's that thought Anthony alluded to of like, okay, if you're buying say a second home or a lakefront property, say you only have a need to use it 1 or 2 times a year, but now you're renting it out the other times, and or all the other days of the year, all the other weeks, whatever you can fill. And, you're kind of paying for the property itself, having free vacation built in. And then, if you have like that long-term goal of like, I want to have my retirement home 20, 30 years from now, by the time you get to that point, if you do something now, it's then paid off or close to it, or you're at least just in a good financial spot. And the other thing, like locally, Not to go like deep conspiracy or anything or deep, predictions and say this area is going to be a hotbed, but this Finger Lakes region that we're in is not going anywhere long term, but up. Right.
Oh my God, yeah.
You see what Canandaigua has done in the last 10, 20 years. You see what Canisius has done in the last 10 years or so. All these
about what it's done. Yeah. I mean, Canisius, literally, I was having a phone call with a guy. I sold this house in Canisius Lake a year and a half ago. And he said, Anthony, tell me, what could I get today? And I mean, he did good at the time. At that time, he sold it for $450. Today, he's $650. And that was just a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
People really reconsider their primary residence.
Right. But what's that same property worth 20 years from now or 10 years from now? Right.
Untouchable.
And not 450, probably not 650. So it's like if you're long-term planning and that's like part of your goals, for retirement or just quality of life, whatever, that you want to have that vacation type home, or even if it's full-time residence, and you get into the market now and Airbnb it for the time being until you're able to do what you want to do, I guarantee you'll be in a better spot than purchasing that home, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, for whatever the market rate is.
Yep.
I feel very confident to go out on that limb and make that prediction.
So there's a woman in my summer place in Sodus Point. She is, I love this lady. She's probably in her late 60s, early 70s. And she's a vulture. And she's a property manager for vacation waterfront homes in Sodus. And she's the boss out there. So she literally goes door to door. The moment I started construction and redoing my property, she came right up to me. Hey, you're going to be renting this out. I could get you this much money. And now, because of how much people are willing to pay for Airbnbs, all of my neighbors, they're doing 4 or 5 weeks of the summer. And those 4 or 5 weeks that she's getting people to rent their properties, they're covering all of their expenses for the whole year in that 4 to 5 week span, because they're getting $2,500 to $4,000 a week, depending on the condition of your property. Right. It's crazy. And you're going to see more as our taxes are going to continue to climb, because the values continue to climb and the assessments are going to continue to climb. Your expenses are going to continue to climb.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a great, you can look at it a few different ways. Just an investment, cash flow, whatever your return is, or, like covering your expenses and you got a place to vacation or a place to live.
Yeah.
You got to keep in mind, like, you may have to forfeit 4th of July week or weekend, whatever, right? In order to, just seek those big rental rates.
Yeah.
But you can also see where it's like, I'm not giving that up and, rent it around that. But I want to be there for the 4th. It's just, it's just got to be built into the strategy. The other thing, this isn't just a conversation for lakefront stuff either. Like I'm talking with landlords that don't have, waterfront area, like think Park Avenue in our market. There's Airbnbs happening around there too. There's a big demand for, at least pre-COVID anyway, like all the incoming out of towners that are drawn towards RIT or U of R, and like parents weekend coming to see their kids. There's demand for that. There's demand for just the business that attracts that has to be fulfilled too. It's kind of like, it's almost Airbnb has evolved to where it's like, okay, a lot of people would rather just do that than stay at a hotel. And not saying hotels are going away, but it's quickly evolved to a solid alternative to your typical hotel stay. And on top of that, I just read an article where, like, since COVID, especially, it's Airbnb is gaining traction where it's just not your vacation type rental, but more of that, like, hey, I'm going to go live somewhere for 2 months because I work remote, and I'll Airbnb my primary residence out and go live in Aspen in the wintertime and ski and work, or live in Florida and be on the beach.
No doubt.
So it's evolving so quickly in every market, and Rochester and the Finger Lakes region especially is not, we're not, what do you call it? It's not like we're limited because we're not in some hot trendy market like South Florida. Or,
we're not a destination.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no, because locally, at least statewide, the Finger Lakes is definitely a destination, and probably only going to continue to be that.
Yep.
So yeah.
So I will say this: I've done a bunch of Airbnbs when I've traveled. I prefer it over a hotel in that whole process. And I will say that the Airbnbs, every single one that I've rented, because they typically contract out the cleaning service, every one that I've rented is cleaner than any hotel room. Even the nicest hotels that I've stayed at, it's like, it's inevitable that there's going to be a hair that you could string a banjo with on the toilet or in the sink or the shower floor.
So this is for us cheap people like me, Anthony.
Yeah.
This is a question, because this will be my first Airbnb experience. Am I supposed to be leaving a tip for anybody?
No.
No tips? Oh, beautiful.
No, there's nobody to tip.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's great.
Are we tipping at hotels?
Well, like Uber, you tip. I feel like this is. I mean, hotels, you tip.
I leave money at the hotel for the room service.
They do for room service, but not like as you're leaving.
No, not for room service. Cleaning service.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't, Jason?
I don't know.
What a scumbag.
I might be a scumbag.
If you don't remember, if you don't remember, you didn't. So don't try to backpedal.
I'm an excellent tipper, so I don't want to hear about it.
Are you like there's also people, like, let's say you buy a couch, the people that bring the couch to you, are you supposed to tip them?
Yes, and you tip them. You tip them before they move the furniture, because they're going to do it in a different manner.
Oh, okay. So those scratch things up. Smart.
This is where I'm old man, and you get a tip, you do a job well done, right?
No, you tip for the job well done preemptively, because it's going to affect the way they do it. You get your car.
So then do you tip twice? Do you give them the teaser tip and then just a tip at start, and then
there's more where that came from.
The rest, or more where that came from.
I'm not a lady of the night. We're talking about a couch, right? Got more where that came from, you weirdo. No, you just tip them, right?
Yeah, you tip them, and then they do a shitty job anyway, and then what?
Nope. Listen, I learned this from I'm the car wash maniac, so I used to go through Delta Sonic every day before Royal Car Wash, and if you tip after they dry the car, you're dumb. You got to do it before. They're going to dry it. They're going to give you some tire shine. They're going to give you things that aren't included. I got to write a book. I've got so many of these thoughts. It's over tipping that I believe in.
So, wrap up the Airbnb conversation. One of the bigger elements I think people got to keep in mind if they're looking to get in this is how you're managing it, right? Because it's pretty intensive. You got to have somebody come and go to clean the place up every time it's rented. And that's where, like, I think there's opportunity in this market to improve on that. Like, I don't know of a big influx of companies that are handling that. And if you're looking to do it yourself as a property owner and Airbnb being out yourself, just understand what you're getting into. You're not going to be able to get away with, providing a messy place, or can't expect the last renter to leave it perfect for the next guy coming in. So.
All right, guys, we can check out AnthonyButeraTeam.com. Subscribe to the podcast there. Check out all the older podcasts as well. All right, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Tip your couch delivery man, please.
Don't forget to tip your couch delivery man. Get your cat spayed and dogs neutered.
Thanks for listening to The Real Estate Show. Find us on Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube. If you're looking to sell or buy, talk to the Anthony Butera team of Keller Williams Realty, Greater Rochester. Visit AnthonyButeraTeam.com.